Welcome to Faith Encouraged. I'm Father Barnabas. Here's today's homily.
Good morning. Christ is risen.
Truly is risen.
Christos anesti.
Aithos anesti.
Christ is risen.
Truly is risen.
I was reading an article recently about AI. You know what AI is, don't you? Artificial intelligence. Some might suggest that all intelligence is, well, I won't go there. Artificial intelligence really is disrupting a great deal of many things. Several years ago, in the economic situation under one administration, they said to all of the miners and all of the factory workers and all of the folks, because the factory work was going overseas and everything was going over there, and they told the factory workers and the heating and air guys and the plumbers and all that, said, well, you guys need to learn to code. And now, guess what? Artificial intelligence is taking over the coding situation. So all of the coders are now having to learn how to do plumbing and stuff like that. The reality is, folks, the future is a mist to us. And we humans don't like that. We're very suspicious of things that we can't see ahead of time. We don't like it a lot. And our lives are filled with troubles that we can see, and frankly, some of the things that we're most afraid of are the troubles we can't see. The stuff that we don't know is coming down the road. Some people are so terrified of life that they refuse to leave the house because of what might happen. And their mind is busy worrying about a million different things. And imagining, well, this scenario, that scenario. I can't tell you how many times I've had a conversation in my head with somebody who I thought was upset with me, or I was upset with them, and come to find out there was no problem. It is amazing what our brains will do. Our brains will create all kinds of scenarios and ideas, and what if this happens, and what if that happens, and what if a meteor falls on the highway and I have to go around, and what route will I take? And all kinds of stuff. Our minds are filled with those things. So much so that the fathers of the church warn us about the power of delusion and fantasy to sap us of our joy and our strength. We can become so worried about what might be that we never deal with what is. And this, my brothers and sisters, is a symptom of atheism. What do you mean, Father? Brothers and sisters, when your brain and your actions make you act as if there is no God, as if there is no hope, as if there is no resurrection, as if there is some great obstacle out there that not even God himself can move for you, when you act that way, when you live that way, when you think that way, you are effectively a functional atheist. And that's just what's true, folks. It's just what's true. It's true for me. It's true for you. It's true for the president. It's true for the Congress, especially true for the Congress. It's true for all of us. What we say we believe, especially in this time of year when we declare over and over and over again, Christ is risen. Folks, if mortality has been defeated, ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing bad that can happen to you that can't be undone. In fact, a great saying by J.R.R. Tolkien said that one day every bad thing will become undone. If you believe that to the very core of your being, what kind of courage would you have in your life? If you believe that to the very core of your being and you live that way, how would your relationships change? Would you dare allow any obstacle to stand in your way ever again? I say all this because today is the Sunday of the Myrrh-bearing Women. And it is also the Sunday where we remember Joseph of Arimathea, and we remember St. Nicodemus, the disciple who came to him by night. All of these people, but especially the myrrh-bearers, shine for us as an example of men and women who genuinely believe that Jesus Christ is Lord. Who genuinely believe that there's a God and there is nothing, everybody think of this word in your head, nothing that is impossible with God. The myrrh-bearers shine for us as an example, becoming the very first evangelists of the risen Jesus Christ. I love it because especially when people say, "Oh, you Orthodox, you're." I love to use this word because it makes me sound smart. You're misogynistic. You really put women down. And all of us Orthodox are going, what do you mean, man? What do you mean we put women down? The very first people who declared the good news of the resurrection were the women of our company. And I want to press out for you, brothers and sisters, just how powerful that the resurrection undoes that which is most sick in all of us. These ladies got up early in the morning to finish the embalming process for the Lord Jesus. That's why they were bringing their spices. And they knew that they were enemy number one, that anybody that was on Jesus' side was on the opposite side of the powers that be in Jerusalem. They knew they were enemy number one. They knew that the stone was large. But the obstacles that they didn't know about were even bigger than they imagined. There was also a Roman guard there. There were soldiers there as well guarding the tomb. They didn't know that. And they even asked themselves, who will roll away the stone from the door so that we can do our work? By the way, do you realize the reason why Pilate sent for the centurion to inquire whether Jesus was actually dead? Because everybody knew that Jesus had promised to rise from the dead. And Pilate was terrified that they were going to take him off the cross before he was really dead and claim he was risen from the dead. And so he made sure he was dead. The centurion said, yeah, the man's dead. Okay, here's the body. And they put him in that tomb, and they do the best they can before sundown so they can get his body ready for burial, and then they leave so that they can celebrate the Passover. Early on Sunday morning, the ladies go to the tomb. Who's going to roll away the stone? The stone's already rolled away. What about the soldiers? They didn't even know about the soldiers. Soldiers were already gone. They had already been scattered. Well, of course, somebody coming out of the grave that you're guarding, it'll change your day. And the reality is, the women didn't know about the obstacles that were ahead of them, and they knew about some of them, they didn't know about others. Just like your life, folks. You know about the obstacles in your life. I've got a young daughter that's about to go to college, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I could sell a kidney. I know about the obstacles out there. I know about the stuff that's coming on in the future. And it would be easy to become swallowed by the worry of what's coming. It'd be easy. What about the tariffs? I love it, these people. It's just amazing to me. People are experts on two subjects, then most of them don't know. I can't say that in church. Most of them don't really know about religion and politics. It's hilarious. I am an expert in this. The folks who were experts in the COVID situation several years ago are now experts in tariffs. It's amazing. What if this happens? What if that happens? And all of this stuff, and everybody's getting worried and scared about what might happen, as if there is no God. As if Jesus Christ hasn't actually risen from the dead. If you could live your life completely free of fear, what kind of man or woman would you be? If you could live your life completely free from worry and completely at peace knowing that God is in control, if you could live that kind of life, what would you accomplish in your life? What kind of human would you be? How would you love with abandon, expecting nothing in return? How would you give, not worried at all about where it's going to come from? How would you spend your time if you knew that your time is eternal? How would you reset your priorities if fear was gone from your life? What kind of human would you be? Well, brothers and sisters, today's the day for you to find out. Because I'm telling you, there's a God, and Jesus Christ is alive. I'm not talking about in our memories. I'm not talking about in our wonderful, how isn't it wonderful that we recall this very good? No! I'm talking about the bloodied body that was hung on the cross on Friday, on Sunday morning, had a heartbeat and air moving in and out of his lungs, real lungs. Peter and Thomas, I won't believe until I put my hand in his side and put my finger in the nail prints. And Jesus says, come on, boy, look, here you go. It's really me. We thought you were a ghost. Well, give me a piece of fish. You got something to eat? And he ate in front of them. Jesus Christ is alive, folks. In every way that a human can be alive, Jesus Christ is alive. And if Jesus Christ is alive, there are no obstacles in your life that can't be overcome by faith in Jesus Christ. Period. Forever. I'm getting older in my life, and I'm facing more and more my mortality. And more I'm staring down that... is that a train coming, or is that the end of the tunnel? I can't tell. But the reality is that's what is. And especially as we get older in our lives, we start creating scenarios of what if and regret and shame, and we think, oh, if I would have only... Folks, the worst words that a Christian can ever say is to get to the end of your life and say, if I would have only been more brave, if I would have only been more faithful, if I would have only been more committed. Don't let that happen to your life, folks. Jesus Christ is alive. There is a God. No matter what the obstacles in your life, whether you can see them or the stuff that comes out of nowhere and gets you, don't despair. Christ is risen from the dead, trampling down death by death, and on those in the tombs bestowing life. Normal Orthodox Christians live every day in the reality of the resurrection power of a living God. That's normal. Remember that Monday morning. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Thanks for watching. If this ministry helps you, please like, subscribe, and share this video. It makes a huge difference. Go to Fr. Barnabas Powell at Substack and get our daily devotionals. To support us, you can visit faithencourage.org and click the donate link. You can also reach me by email at frbarnabas@faithencourage.org. God bless you, and remember to seek Christ above all else.